Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to another edition of Anime Crackers. I'm H, this is
Ashley.
And yeah, so we were kind of MIA because we had Awesome Con and
Cosplay Con Crunch is real.
It's murder.
Oh god, I'm never doing it again.
No.
I'm starting in advance. I can't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And we don't have any snacks, but we did have some McDonald's.
We were stress eating today.
Yeah. There's not a good meal that comes out of McDonald's. But we actually did kind of catch a good week to do this. Maybe a bad week because, well, you'll hear from some of my reviews, but it is spring, so that means a lot of new anime, that means some returning anime, and we're going to grab a few from this week, all the stuff that came out, because I know you grabbed onto a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
I grabbed onto a lot of new stuff, and of course one older, more popular one, which I'm going to talk about towards the end. But before we get started, if you're watching us through YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe to this, so that way we'll have reason that we're talking to a camera and hoping that you're watching. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, send this out to your friends, give us the views, give us the likes, and we'll keep doing stuff like this. But we're going to talk about some anime, and also just a quick reminder, if you're in the DC, Virginia, Maryland area, come out to Anime Day at Phantom Comics next Saturday. We're going to have a panel, we're going to have a costume contest, and we're going to have a live screening of some new shows. So, let's go and kick it off. So what's the first thing you watched?
Oh man, the first thing I watched, it was actually one of my spring picks for a piece that you did. Magical Girl Ore. I can't remember what the Japanese is, but just look it up. It's on Crunchyroll, and basically it's a magical girl who turns into a magical boy kind of anime. So the long and short of it, her mom used to be a magical girl like way back in the day, but her mom's getting old, so she can't do it anymore. So the Yakuza...
So she's a retired sailor, kinda. she's a veteran.
Right. And so like this Yakuza kind of guy basically comes up to the girl and says like, hey, so I need you to take up what your mom put down. And she's like, no, I'm not going to do this. And then her crush gets kidnapped by these Bara muscular teddy bear looking things. So she decides to make the contract. And so she does the whole thing. He said, okay, you can transform now. And she's wearing like this cute little magical outfit, but when she transforms into this like manly, muscular Bara dude.
Now I feel like I want to watch this.
It is so great. And the thing that was great is it was supposed to come out like maybe a few days ago, but Crunchyroll got their hands on it first, and they did like a early release kind of thing. So it dropped like maybe like the end of March. So it's totally on Crunchyroll. I say watch it. It's hilarious.
Right.
Barley, masculine, like
magical boy.
Yes.
Oh. All right. My first pick was also another one that I posted in an article, Dances with the Dragons.
Ooh.
And the anime looks pretty good. The animation itself, I mean, from the trailer, it looked like it's going to be good.
Right. Dope.
I'm on the fence about it.
No.
This is one of those, I'm going to give the 3-episode try because the first episode came out, started off all action. So it's about these two bounty hunters. They're living in, I guess, what could be considered a post-apocalyptic planet Earth. Because they don't necessarily say where it is. But the first episode was all over the place. I mean, first 5 or 10 minutes it comes out. These guys are fighting, this dragon. And, they get money based on the kind of dragons that they killed. And this particular dragon that we're hunting is like a rare version. But then it jumps from that to, there's some kind of political going on within the government. Then you find out a little bit more about the two guys, like, because it's almost like a typical buddy kind of thing. One's a straight-laced dude, the other is the, hey, I'm like, whatever, I'm a hippie kind of thing. But then you find out what the hook is. So the hook of the show is there's someone going around killing these bounty hunters. And we don't necessarily learn why, but that's just kind of like where that pops up. So it kind of felt like a shoehorned in there. So I feel like, okay, I'm going to try to give it a chance. I just hope that the next couple of episodes aren't all over the place as this was, because like I said, it was just flipping back and forth in between what was going on. So, I want to learn, why are there dragons?
Right.
And then, of course, the big mystery is who's this person killing the bounty hunters and why. So,
yeah. And where can you watch this one?
This one's also on Crunchyroll. I think almost everything I'm mentioning right now is on Crunchyroll right now.
I get that.
So,
I feel that.
What's your next pick?
So I'm gonna break that up. I'm gonna go back to Netflix. So this one, I can't remember when it dropped, but it's not exactly new, but it's still maybe a week or two old. It's called Children of the Whales. Now, I was drawn into this one because of the animation, and Netflix sends out those emails to Netflix users saying, "Oh, we have something you might like." So I was like, "Okay, Netflix,
I might like this."
Right, you tell me. So basically, it's about this. It starts off with talking about this boy who's the recorder or the historian in training for this whole community of people who live on this island that moves kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it's just and this island that moves is they're talking about we're sailing on a sea, but it's really just the sea is sand. It's a weird desert thing, but it flows like water. And you don't know why they're there. And it's just okay, why are they there? Why do they know how to use this magical power called Thymia or something? And just, the people who use it, they die early. What's going on? And then out of freaking nowhere, they do an exploration. They find another girl who can use the power that they can. And this leads to them finding out things about themselves and about their power that they never knew. Mm-hmm. And then out of freaking nowhere again, they get attacked by people who look similar to her, but they're killing them. And these people lived in peace for centuries or something. So they've never known violence or aggression. And so you can imagine that so much stuff is just happening, and you learn more about their worldview because they just live on this floating island thing. Mm-hmm. So they don't know what happens outside. So it's they're learning more and more, and they're holy crap, what do we do? And it's and you have this guy, the protagonist was telling you from his angle. He's telling it from a historian point of view because he's supposed to be writing all this down and recording this for future generations. So it's just this never-ending character building. Are they going to make it? Are they going to survive? Yeah. And it's just and it's just so beautifully done. It's so wonderful. I would give it a recommendation.
Okay.
And it's like I said, it's only about 12 episodes on Netflix, and I'm happy with it because the music is great, and I'm just do they make it? Are they okay?
Stay tuned and find out next time
on Dragon Ball Z.
I'm glad you found some good stuff. Like I said, this week was just so all over the place. My next pick is Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online Gun Gale Online Alternative. Mm-hmm. So basically, this is not necessarily connected to the Sword Art Online universe that we've gotten for the last iterations.
Right.
So as far as I know right now, you're not going to see Kirito, Asuno, any of the other characters. This is another character. If I remember, her online name is Lin. But this looks like this this series is going to touch on basically how we see ourselves in the real world versus how we see ourselves online, and sometimes how people do totally the opposite. Because reading the plot runner, the young lady in question that's the protagonist for this show, she's a 6 foot tall high school. So when you're in high school and you're 6 foot tall, you stand out like a sore thumb. I could totally relate with that. Because everybody just assumes that you're an athlete, you play basketball, you play this sport, you play that sport. So there's a lot of pressure to be athletic. But this first episode feels more like it was a prelude episode because the entire episode was just one of her dives online. And the difference is, especially knowing the plot, I kind of got what was going on. If you just jump in this blind, you wouldn't know what the hell was going on. But basically, her avatar online is a midget that wears all pink and has a pink gun. She's cute, and her and her clan friend or clanmate, they're busy doing this battle royale. And they're at a disadvantage because they're in a jungle-like environment. So his outfit, it's brown and green and it kind of blends right in. She's wearing this bright pink. And they have to fight off these 8 different teams. So they spend the whole episode showing how they tactically took down these other guilds as they're playing. And only at the end did they reveal who she was. And they didn't necessarily connect it with her being in the game. So you know, if you're familiar with Sword Art Online, you know, or just MMOs in general, then, you know, your minds may vary on how you felt about this first episode. But like I said, by this being like such a big prelude episode, it felt a little bit flat because now you think to yourself, okay, well, there's so much for it to explain.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, just like anything else, if it has between 12 and 26 episodes, then hopefully within the next 3 to 4,
right,
you explain to us what was going on, so that way we can understand why, you know, they did what they did on the first try. So, yeah, again, another 3 or 4 episode tryout.
So sorry, you see.
Wait till you hear what I got to do on the last one. I'm just saying. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so my last one is a toss-up between 2, but I think I'll go for this one because at the current moment, I finished it, and I have a lot of things to say, but I'm going to dial it back. So the last one I watched was Citrus, and this was a first for me because this is a Yuri or a girl's love kind of anime. So basically, you know, the main character and the story and the plot are about 2 girls who get together. Now, the thing that I kind of did like about it was they didn't fall into similar tropes that you would find in like boys love or, you know, yaoi, but it was still kind of problematic in its own right. So the story basically is a girl's transferring from one school to another. She's a very high fashion girl. Her mom married some dude, so that's why they moved. And she finds out she's going to an all-girl academy kind of thing. She never had a boyfriend, so she's like, how the heck is this gonna work? And she meets this girl there who ends up being like the class president. She ends up filling her up, but it's more or less to like do like a body search to find the foe. And then so that sends her like hormones out of whack because she's never been touched like that before. And then it becomes this whole thing. She becomes like, in a way, infatuated, kind of wants to know more about this girl. Lo and behold, the girl ends up being like her step sibling because that's, you know, her mom married her dad and stuff. So it's this whole love story of them, you know.
Borderline incest.
Slightly, yes.
Borderline. It's a clear line of delineation here.
And it's just like so weird because what I've noticed is like, cause for those who know the difference between like yaoi or boys love and girls love and yuri, it's like, you know, there are different stereotypes and tropes and stuff. And one of the ones I'm learning about in yuri is that a lot of these girls who ends up being like the I want to date one of you, they're either really obsessive or they're crazy. They're never, not all the time, normal. There's always some crazy component. So you have a crazy pink-haired girl who's trying to blackmail and set things up and all this stuff. And I'm like, you're in elementary school. What the heck? And then you have like this crazy, not crazy older sister, but very protective older sister. It's just a lot going on. And
sounds like it.
Yes, and it was all a giant, you know, bleak tease at the end, and apparently there's a manga, so I'll probably go to that, but it's on Crunchyroll, 12 episodes. You can binge this easily, but just be prepared to get like, just to be very emotional and like probably yell a lot, because that's what I did.
Yeah, that's why we're gonna wind up having a lot. Alright, so my last pick. So for those of you that are coming out next week to Phantom, one of the things that we do plan on live streaming or you know, having a watch party with is My Hero Academia.
Whoop, whoop.
Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm kind of glad that we're waiting until next week to show it because we're gonna do our best to show both episodes because it premiered this week, and of course by next week episode 2 will be up.
Nice.
Now, I binged the entire 2 seasons this past month.
You did, and I was proud of you for that.
That was a lot. A lot to take in.
Welcome back to anime, my dude.
It was good. It was good. But this episode, again, it's another one of those shows where you might as well not. Now, this doesn't get the 3 episode treatment because I already know I'm already on board.
Right.
It's just that with everything that happened and how they left us off with the last couple of episodes with this League of Villains coming into play and all this, I was kind of looking forward to this episode just picking up where everything left off. Well, mostly picking up where things left off, and the League of Villains puts everything into play. This episode more or less was just, you know, the gang's all back together, they're on summer break, let's kind of catch up with what's been going on. So it was kind of like a summary of the first 2 seasons, gives you an idea about the main characters and how they got to where they are. You know, you find a little bit more about Midoriya, you find out more about Bako and all the rest of their little friends that, you know. But there really wasn't that much movement.
Mm.
You know, they're out. You know, they have their little break. They're trying to get into the swimming pool. The boys, of course, are trying to look at the girls in the bikinis, but the girls come out in the full costume. So, you know, it was nice, but I was expecting a little more from My Hero Academia. So I'm kind of glad we actually waited a week to decide that we were going to do our screening down there because, yeah. So here's hoping that next episode we really start getting into the punch of everything.
Giggity.
So of course that's also actually it's both on Crunchyroll and Funimation.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's that. So on that point.
Nice.
Again, if you're watching us, you made it this far, and you like what you see, make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Because you know you like us.
If you are on the internet, find us at popcultureuncovered.com.
Yup.
On the web, follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, and Instagram. We're at PC Uncovered. And we're working on getting the Patreon started up, so, you know, we need subscribers. So make sure you come out and give us a look. So other than that,
Yay.
we'll see you in about 2 weeks. And we're also doing, don't forget, we're also doing our podcast. So we got to do our podcast 2 weeks too.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Other than that, we're out.
Bye, guys.